Someone was in my house?
We should get her out of here.
Listen.
Honey, I've got a feeling this is the night.
And you're ready to die for me? I take it you met my bodyguard.
Det hettar till mellan Whitney Houston och Kevin Costner i The Bodyguard den 15 juli klockan 21:50 på Filmnet Plus.
I think, you know, being on the verge of madness has a certain kind of exhilaration to it.
Coming up next on Extreme Closeup, Oscar winner Jessica Lange. Hi, I'm Art Mann. Welcome to Extreme Closeup, E's half-hour interview show with Oscar Award winner, multiple Oscar Award winner, Jessica Lange. She's come a long way from playing leading lady to a giant ape in the remake of King Kong, to this year's Golden Globe and Academy Award winner for her remarkably, impressively believable manic-depressive military housewife in Blue Sky.
You know, a part like this is great, and it has great kind of energy to it. And the nice thing about playing a part like this is you don't have to worry about any boundaries. You can just kind of bounce off in any direction, and it makes sense for the character. So I think, you know, there's just a certain amount of joy to playing a character like this, and sometimes I think that comes through in the work.
Sir, isn't that your... Yeah, beautiful, isn't she?
I think, you know, being on the verge of madness has a certain kind of exhilaration to it, and physically, yes, it was exhausting, but somehow just the playing of it kind of, it was that kind of character where everything just kind of moves through, it becomes very fluid, and in that way, it didn't feel as difficult as a lot of the other parts.
This isn't the first Oscar Lange won. No, no, no. After the snide attention she received for King Kong, she went on to a soul-wrenching performance in Francis. That was the same year she started opposite Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie, and picked up the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for the comedy. But being an Oscar winner seemed even more thrilling this time around.
Tonight, I was so thrilled that I won, because this is the first time in these 6 nominations that my children watching were old enough to really realize what this meant. And they were, I know, glued to the TV set, and I just thought, oh, if I win anytime, let me win tonight, because they're going to be so thrilled. So actually, that's what I was thinking of more than anything this evening, is how happy they would be. It's still thrilling, I think. You know, I remember it from when I was a little girl in Minnesota and watched it on black and white TV, and I used to see, like, Liz Taylor, you know, and I mean, it was just the whole exoticness of it, I think, is what, and yeah, so it's great to be here. I mean, it's kind of like a dream come true. Mild panic. It was, you know, I hadn't prepared anything to say because, I don't know, I just didn't, you know, I thought, well, you know, if you prepare a speech, chances are you won't win, so kind of not to jinx it, I didn't prepare anything to say, and then when I got up there, I realized that my mind had gone completely blank, but anyhow, I muddled through. It was a great group of actresses, it really was, yeah, it was very, I mean, every one of their work, you know, in each of the individual films they did, I thought was really beautiful work. And I think one of the problems, you know, with like the best actress of the year, whatever, is that how do you compare, you know, the kind of character that I played and the work that I did playing that character with somebody, you know, like what Winona Ryder did with a, you know, a very different kind of character. So it's difficult. I mean, but I felt very, I felt very honored to be in the company of those women.
Well, I personally think she deserved that Oscar. In her next movie, Losing Isaiah, Lange gives another Oscar-caliber performance.
I want you to know that we're always together.
But next, the joy and pain of Blue Sky.
You don't know how much I need it.
Welcome to the real world.
Let's go!
Vill du veta allt om det senaste inom film och underhållning ska du fortsätta titta på Filmnet även mellan filmerna då vi visar nyheter.
Hi everyone, I'm Bianca Ferrara.
I'm Steve Kometko. This is E! News Week in Review.
Den glättiga och glamorösa fasaden. Och verkligheten bakom kamerorna, på dagens biosuccéer och i stjärnornas privatliv. Så stanna kvar på Filmnet, kanalen med filmnyheter.
We ain't seen nothing yet.
Welcome back to Extreme Closeup, Ye's half-hour interview show with Jessica Lange. Hi again, I'm Art Mann. We've been talking to Academy Award winner Jessica Lange. Her film Blue Sky is an unusual film. So unusual, it almost didn't get released. But after 3 years on the shelf, it finally saw the light of day, or the dark of the theater.
He's a military scientist, an atomic scientist, nuclear scientist, which is, you know, it's all about like the minutest, most scientific detail. And here's this woman that he's married to that just like creates this fever wherever she goes. She just puts everything into turmoil.
This is a real vote of confidence in your...
Carly, do you remember your Bible?
Of course I remember my Bible. You know, Grandpa was a preacher.
All right. How did David steal Bathsheba away from her husband?
He bought her a drink.
Oh, silly. He sent her husband away into battle where he was killed. 2 Samuel, verse 15.
Monsieur, your car's waiting.
Tell him I'll be right there. I don't want anything to happen to you.
Only thing that ever happens to me is that I miss you too much.
There's a lot of joy and there's a lot of pain, but I think what it is that she makes his life interesting. And on the other hand, he's her security. She can't live without him because he actually cares for her.
You get out of here!
Don't worry about it. I'll handle this.
Hope so.
Get him out of here!
Carly. Nobody's gonna hurt you.
You touch me. Don't you touch me.
I wouldn't let anybody hurt you.
I can see it. I can see that radiation just coming off you. No! No, you get your goddamn contaminated hands off me!
Carly. You trust me? Do you think I know you? Do you? Hmm? Well, listen to me then. You have nothing to be afraid of. You want to go home? Hmm?
It was one of those situations where they couldn't live with each other and they couldn't survive being away from one another. So it was a very complex, highly charged marriage. Tony would actually create almost as though it was live theater. He would stage the scene, and when the staging was working, he would then determine where he was going to put his camera and how much he could get in just that one shot. And a lot of scenes that we did actually played in one shot. You know, the camera would move, but it would play like a scene on stage.
Blue Sky was never a surefire hit. In fact, the Oscar nomination came as a surprise to Lange.
This is kind of a special one, you know, just because the film was had a kind of hard luck story, and the director, who was just a great actor's director, a great director to work with, has since died, you know, and it's kind of a tribute to him, I think, for all those many reasons, and because the part was just so enjoyable to do. It was just one of those great parts where you could kind of do anything. You know, you could take it any direction that you wanted to. And working with Tommy Lee and Powers Booth and Carrie Snodgrass, and I mean, the whole cast was wonderful. So then to get this kind of recognition for it is really, it's sweet.
These days, Lange is one of the busiest women in Hollywood. Not only is she starring in Blue Sky, but she's also starring in Losing Isaiah, and she's in the Scottish epic Rob Roy opposite Liam Neeson. So don't go away, because when we come back, we'll find out about the chemistry between her and Neeson.
It was never a question with Liam of having to imagine.
But next, the emotional roller coaster of Losing Isaiah.
The emotional possibilities of a mother that is experiencing something like this, which must be the greatest nightmare.
In the summertime, when the weather is high, and you can stretch right up and touch the sky.
Oh, you wanted a hot summer. We got it. Filmnet, we guarantee you a hot summer.
Stefan älskar bara musik och sin violin. Inget annat får tränga sig emellan. Ända till han träffar den betagande Camille.
Bonjour. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a, ça va pas? Si. J'ai envie de vous. Je ne vous aime pas.
Och hela världen verkar förändras.
Camille, arrêtez.
Mais là, c'est rien! Vous n'êtes rien!
Passion, avund och svartsjuka.
Ah, il paraît qu'il aime la musique. Parce que c'est du rêve, la musique. Parce que ça n'a rien à voir avec la vie.
Den Césarbelönade filmen Ett vinterhjärta i juli bara på Filmnet.
Welcome back to Extreme Closeup, E's half-hour interview show with Jessica Lange. Hello again, I'm Art Mann. We've been talking to multiple Oscar winner Jessica Lange. This woman is always ready to take on any role, no matter how demanding. And the drama continues for Lange in Losing Isaiah. It's a heartbreaking story of a mother's turmoil over the possibility of losing her adopted son. It was a role Lange couldn't resist.
Obviously, what attracted to me it was this, in the area, the definition of motherhood. You know, because I have very emotional reactions to this situation, and I thought it would be, an interesting area to learn about and to discover. I mean, because I always think of films as being kind of a crash course. You suddenly are thrown into this arena of something you know nothing about, and so immediately you start to read everything that's ever written on the subject, and it's great. It's like an education. And in this area, of course, what attracted me first and foremost was at all the emotional possibilities of a mother that is experiencing something like this, which must be the greatest nightmare.
Look in the mirror. Look at my face. I'm his mother. God says so.
Take yours. I didn't have to take them. You threw them away, remember? Any animal can give birth. That doesn't make it a mother.
Oh, so you calling me an animal? If you think you're just gonna walk up in this court and take my baby like you take some puppy from a pound, you got another thing coming, lady. 'Cause you ain't gonna take my baby from me.
He's not a baby. You don't even know him. You don't know anything about him. Wait. Don't do this. Don't do this to Isaiah.
Don't do what? Tell him the truth? That his real mama is as black as he is?
Black. All you people think about is color.
You people? You people? Well, me and Isaiah, we the same kind of people. But didn't you know?
What I like to do is I like to do as much research as I possibly can on whatever subject it is, whether it's like on, in the area of welfare reform or the social services and the interracial adoptions and crack babies, whatever, all the stuff that I had to verse myself in for this one. And then I do that up until the time we start shooting, and then I just put it away, because I have to anyhow. Let the whole intellectual process stop then, and then it just becomes the emotional response.
What we should be thinking about here what is going to happen to the spirit of this little boy?
But beyond all the research, what is it that Jessica strives for in her real-life role as a parent?
I think one of the main ones, which is one of the hardest ones for me to learn, is patience. You know, kind of, you know, the area of just love, you know. I mean, that more than anything else, you know. Love based on nothing but its purest state. You know, not because of this or because of that or because of, but just pure love. And, you know, you have to be willing to be a teacher. You have to be willing to educate and to, in some way, without being pedantic or overwhelming or whatever, to impart values to a child. And you have to do that all by example.
With all this talk about values, what's with Liam Neeson wearing a shorter skirt than Jessica Lange? Well, it's a film about a Scotsman, of course.
You know how fine you are to me, Mary McGregor. So fine.
Is that why you sent them away? To tell me how fine I am? Or did you want to make a silk purse out of my sow's ear again?
I think it's rare when you find a script that's really beautifully written the way this was, with the dialogue and the characters. I mean, there wasn't one character, which I think is also very rare, that had been slighted at all in the writing.
So, McGregor, I knew your father, an able man, if not a wise one. Have you taken on his mantle?
As best I may, my lord.
So, how many men are you master of?
Master of none, my lord, but some 200 souls live close by Craig Roston and are in my care.
That's one of the things I love about doing films, is that it's like an intensive course in whatever it is the film is about or whatever it is your character is encountering. You, like, immerse yourself in it, and for that period of time, it becomes your life.
Dreamed a silky cane.
And what did he do to you? You're silky.
You wakened me before the best of it. But you would have ravished me for that.
It was full of love and trust and honor and lust and sexuality and sensuality. And to me it was great because those relationships are so rare on film.
How do you know you're awake, wife?
It was never a question with Liam of having to imagine or, you know, having to strive to find those characteristics in the actor that you're playing opposite.
Robert? Oh, Robert. What have they done with you?
At first I was very daunted by the idea of a Scottish accent because it's so unlike anything I have ever done. And of course I was surrounded by Irish, English, Scottish actors where it was just second nature for them to fall into this, the rhythm and the pronunciation. And so at first I was extremely self-conscious, and even the first day of shooting I kept saying to myself, I can't do this, I can't do this, you know, it's a disaster. And once I got past the actual thing of, like, speaking it out loud and kind of putting yourself out there, then it became just kind of second nature, and it felt very natural to me.
You should have told me, Mary.
Oh, Robert, I should have, but I could not. Forgive me, my love. I was wrong. It was wrong.
No. It was me who was wrong. You were right when you told me I must have it my own way. It's that which brought all this on us. I should have packed my pride, given Montrose's way.
No, Robert.
And when all this has come on us.
The climate there is very dramatic, so, you know, you'd have these incredible sweeping storms that would come off the ocean across the locks, and it would turn gray and black, and then the rain would come, and then, you know, in the next day it would be just this crystalline northern light that you just don't see anywhere else, you know, except in those climates up there. And I mean, I just, you know, there was something about Scotland that so enchanted me. I really fell in love with it. And we were in, of course, the Highlands and up near the Hebrides, and just the vistas. I mean, being able to be in those locales and look out every day and see what we were, you know, in the midst of. It was just such, I mean, it was such a great gift in a way.
Robert. Robert, what are you doing?
No, I cannot.
What if... I cannot. Oh, what if you do not return to us?
If it's a boy, call him Robert. If a lass, name her for my love, Annie McGregor.
It becomes a movie of betrayal and vendetta, and all of that plays parallel, kind of like an adventure story, plays parallel to this love story, to the romantic aspect of the film, which tracks Robert and Mary McGregor from through this difficult time in their lives, and you know, it's love triumphant is what it is.
I just love her. But now we're out of time. I want to thank you for watching Extreme Close-Up. I'm Art Mann, and I'll see you next time. Lights out.
Oh, how fine you are to me, Robert McGregor. You know, I love the bones of you, but you take too much to heart that cannot be helped.
You have slept your last peaceful night, McGregor.
Let's get started.
Something like this don't come along every day.
I'll notify the press. Are you nuts?
Patos locos forever.
Where people know how you feel. You're looking through a window onto your soul. The story of life is about to unfold. It will be a non-stop celebration, full of entertainment and total fascination. This is the place to be, where all the magic's on TV. This is the place to be.
That's entertainment.
Yep.
Filmnet Plus.
I don't have anything to wear.
How much of this shit do I have to listen to?
My mom's the only other woman I've ever known who can make a sandwich like that.
Jeffrey ska skilja sig.
I'm looking forward to meeting Tony.
Men hans frus nye man
I hit her. What do you want me to say, Tony? You want me to forgive you? No.
är galen.
You want to see a mess? This is a mess!
Kan en familj bli före detta?
I can see you!
You can try getting a restraining order.
I'll kill you before I let you go.
Sista utvägen är inte alltid att stänga alla dörrar. I juli på Filmnet. 1750 söker britterna hjälp av Iroquois-indianerna för att få herravälde över den nya världen.
Together we shall stand against the French.
Indianerna ställer motvilligt upp för britterna och som tack blir de lurade.
Is it true they will all go home across the sea?
I think so.
De kunde inte veta att den vite mannens mål var att krossa de 6 nationernas samvälde.
Bound together. Unbreakable. But what does it take to break a single arrow?
Nu måste Iroquois-folket slåss för sig själva.
I'm here trying to keep 2 worlds from colliding, but they will collide.
We did not come here to fight. We must stop them.
We were too few to win, too many to die.
Pierce Brosnan tillsammans med nu levande Iroquois-indianer i den brutna kedjan i juli på Filmnet.